And then I lost two close people to me to suicide in high school. So just all of that combined really like pushed me into music more because it then became like medicine or escape or therapy.
Welcome to Oracle Unveiled. Who are we here with today?
Yo, this is Ddiltz Productions.
Ddiltz Productions. I am so happy to have you here today. Reason being, you are probably one of the longest connections I have in this industry. So having an interview with you or having you sit across from me has been a long time coming, because I feel like you're one of the few people who has more, and I mean more, to offer the music world, to offer the music industry. So I'm seriously so glad. But I would like to start you off with my favorite question to ask every artist that sits across from me. Why do you create?
Oh man, that's kind of a multi-layered answer. I'd probably say the single most reason I create is because it's the most natural thing for me to do, like music has been. I started in like 5th grade on the recorder, and even just on the recorder it just felt like breathing. And so leading all the way up until now, it's something I naturally do because I feel like it's a gift bestowed upon me. And it's something that I have to basically like steward and take care of.
Absolutely. You say you played the recorder. I didn't even know you played that. How many instruments exactly do you play?
So technically I play, well, I guess if you even count the recorder, I play like 11.
11? That's insane. Oh, bro.
But no.
I was here saying he plays maybe, I don't know, 7, 8. He's 11.
That's
what?
That's if you count the recorder, but
It is an instrument. You know, like that is the first instrument I ever touched. I'm amazed every time like I work with you. So this is just another new fact that I'm just filing away in the catalog. That's just amazing.
so if I get more money and more space, then I'll learn more instruments too.
Absolutely. And I feel like you have the capability to actually do that. You know, but I'm curious, what is a pivotal point in your life that made you into the man and the person that we know today, or points?
Ooh, yeah, there's a few. They're all kind of dark points, but I feel like our darkest moments can make us better. Absolutely. If we choose to. I think a big one would just be struggling with depression through high school. I personally struggled with depression and suicide ideations, attempts, and then I lost two close people to me to suicide in high school. So just all of that combined really like pushed me into music more because it then became like medicine or escape or therapy, however you want to look at it. I think the other one would probably be being sent to prison at 18, 19 years old by my own dad. I always hate talking about that because it's like probably the thing I'm least proud of in life, but
Understandable.
I just being in there and all the things that I experienced in there turned me from a boy into a man really quick. And really just fueled my passion even more because all I could think about in there is when I got out, like wanting to pursue my dreams, wanting to actually do something because I saw how quick life can just be over for you. And so yeah, I think those are the two biggest things.
I couldn't even imagine, just dealing with thoughts like that to where, it becomes a hindrance to your day-to-day. And as someone that doesn't struggle with stuff like that, I tend to appreciate the people who have warmed their way out of that, or at least still in the process of, because I don't feel like I would be strong enough to handle, suicidal or depressive thoughts, and not to say like I think life is sunshine and rainbows, but I just haven't ever gone down that path. So I just admire people who are strong enough to overcome mental, issues or blocks in life. I find that really inspiring because if you can conquer the mental, the physical is nothing. That's how I view things. It's like every win I've ever had in life, I had it mentally first. Every loss I ever had in life, it happened mentally first. So people that are able to fight battles bigger than my day to day like that and just be able to either come out of it or still actively working towards it, to me that's incredible, man. And like, you know, I've known, because you've referenced in the past about like the whole prison stuff, but that's really hard, man, to, especially at such a young age. I could only imagine just what that would do to a young man.
Well, there's times in there I had thoughts, like 1 year ago, I was sitting in a high school classroom getting ready to like do graduation plans and stuff, and now here I am sitting in the worst place in the country, or you know, and I mean, yeah, it was hard. But sometimes when I think about it now in hindsight, I wouldn't take it back, because I really appreciate who I am now because of it, and then also it just adds to my testimony too, that of God working through me and working.
Absolutely, because I mean, when things like that happen, at the time that they're happening, it's the worst thing in the world. You couldn't imagine anything worse than this. And then somehow, after you've made your way out of it, you're kind of like, kind of glad, you know, I went through that ringer. I'm kind of glad that, you know, I had to be tested that much, or I got tested that deep. Because like I said, like you answering that as what was a pivotal point. Like it was a pivotal point. Without that, you probably wouldn't be as dedicated as you are right now. You probably wouldn't be as laser focused and just knowing exactly what you're going for and chasing it. And for a lot of people, I think they need not exactly that, but just something in their life that pushes them to want more. Because you went to what I will believe, or what I'm guessing is one of the lowest points in your life, and you were just like, nowhere else but up. And how do I get up? You know, so and I feel like I knew you after then, but it's like, as a result of that, you know, what you've made of yourself, what you've amounted to has just been phenomenal. Like you're doing things that nobody is, and like the only difference between you and the biggest in the game right now is notoriety. That's it. That's just that to me. And like I might not be the biggest, I might not be like the most professional, like the most qualified to make that assessment, but I know music, I know what I do, and I'm like, I know for a fact, like that's just the only difference. It's like more people just don't know your name, and more people just haven't seen what you can do. And like, of course, also you are in the process of rectifying that. You're working with more people, for some for free, some for little to no change, and some for, you know, whatever it is. And you're just doing so much, and it's like half of the people in bigger positions are not even putting in half the work that you are, and it's all as a result of like where you came from. So that's really impactful, man. I can only imagine, does that hinder, like, because I don't have a lot of like, I wouldn't know too much about it, but does being in prison hinder what you do, like, you know, like say jobs, or like being able to do certain things?
Well, see, that's what's fueled me to do this so heavy, is that when I got out, I quickly found out that the only way I was personally able to find jobs was getting in through somebody I knew. Because if I went to apply places, as soon as that background check would come back, they would just discard it immediately. And so, and housing too. Housing was also really hard, and still is a struggle. So that fueled me to, okay, I have to I have to make this work, because the only other options I have are really, really slim, and I can't just not do anything. So in 2020, when COVID hit, that was kind of the pivotal moment for me, to where I was working a fry cook job at a little burger spot, and got let go of my job. And as soon as I did, and that stimulus check came in, I went and bought a MacBook and just spent that whole summer of lockdown completely. Spent the lockdown locked in, basically.
Absolutely. And so, I feel like that lockdown for a lot of people was also a blessing and a curse.
Oh, yeah.
Because it helped some people tune in more into their creative side. It helped some people just refocus what they were doing. I think that was probably like one of the first times we ever worked together. Like during that lockdown. It was
shortly after, yeah.
Yeah.
You caught me right when I first started making beats.
Absolutely. Because I remember like you posting on Snapchat, posting on like I didn't think you posted on IG that much. It was mainly Snapchat. Just I think I met you. Did I meet you through Vanessa? Do you even know who that is?
Yeah. Oh, well, I just think that we met through just social media mutuals.
So yeah, probably. That's why I was thinking it's probably Vanessa, because I was like, she was the one that put me on to like key people that I've been working with ever since, because she was in the music scene, and I was also in the music scene, but completely different.
I remember that.
Yeah. So she was like, "Oh yeah, I know someone that's starting to make beats or whatever," and I was like, "Okay, let me take a listen." And then when I took a listen to your stuff, I was like, "Okay, I could work with this. I'm new, he's new. Maybe we could come up with some good together." And then, ever since then, you're just now fucking responsible for like 85% of my entire catalog. Just sitting through like a BMI and Song Trust, trying to register everything, and every other song, Ddiltz Productions. Every other song, Ddiltz Productions. Please, I'm just like. He owns basically 85% of my catalog. He's just like in there all the time. I'm just like, that's insane how much we've done together, and that's just like, that's incredible, man. Tell me about a time you lost faith in your work or passion. What pushed you to that point, and how did you get out of it?
Ooh, I wouldn't say I've ever lost faith, but I've definitely hit burnout. And that's hard because, like I said before, I have no choice but to do this, or I have little choice but to do this. And creative burnout is a thing, because when you, like, if you can imagine just like mixing your own, like imagine producing and mixing your own music, and then times that by 15, 20, 30, 50 people, and I try not to ever complain about it because I love it and this is what I want to do. But after a while, you do just kind of get tired of it. And that's when I know that's when I learned how essential rest is. Because when I first started in 2020, I don't know if you remember it, but I was crazy with the amount that I would stay up. Like I would stay up 1, 2, 3 days just completely grinding. Insane. Because I had a lot of catching up to do. I knew music and music theory, but I didn't know Logic Pro and mixing and EQs and all this stuff. And so I went crazy for probably about 2 years where I was sleep deprived. I was just manic and overworking. And then I realized that it literally affects your mental health. It affects your relationships. It affects every aspect of your life. So I had to learn how to like just step away sometimes and just rest. Sometimes I have to delete social media apps and just not look at my phone because it's it can drain you. But that's with any work though. Really? So like whenever I feel like complaining, I'm like, I could be burnt out doing this, or I could be burnt out in the warehouse I used to work at. Right. So I'll choose this burnout. Absolutely. And that's really a positive way to look at it, because people think, oh, when they make it, then that's it. They've hit it, and then they don't have to do too much, and they don't have to work as hard. But that's when the work starts.
Yeah, reality is that's just when it's starting.
Because like I've been doing this for 6 years, heavy, full in, headstrong, and I just now feel like I'm starting to like actually, like I feel like I'm at zero right now of like actually making the income I'm wanting and all that kind of stuff. I feel like I'm at the starting point 6 years into it. Absolutely. I definitely feel for artists too, because like I said, I've worked with a lot of artists, and I also try to help a lot of artists too. But I think a big thing for artists, you're a good example. I have probably a couple of handfuls of artists that are just good examples of artists doing what they should be doing to, and like I'll ask them like, well, are you registered on BMI or ASCAP? Well, what's that? And I'll tell them. And then, they won't go register. And it's like, well, it might be pennies to the dollar that you're making. But over time, because you've been registered with BMI for a little bit, right? Yes. Over time, you start seeing little $10, $15, $20 checks come in. If I can fill up my tank with music money, with BMI money at that, that I don't even know where it came from, I'm good. Absolutely. If I can pay any bill with music money, that's a win. Absolutely. Personally, music pays my light bill,
and
That's what's up.
sometimes my light and water bill. So that's really powerful for me. It's something I don't have to worry about anymore because I'm like, oh, district will take care of that.
You see, and it's not like people like have this notion that like they'll put out a song and just everything works out for them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's literally small wins like that. Like if you can pay your light bill with music money, then you're just a few steps away from paying your water bill with music money, and a few more steps away from paying your rent with music money, and then it. Like you just keep working, and those things keep getting taken care of. And
But I'm telling you, the day or the first 6 months where I'm able to pay my rent with music money, I'll quit my job. If I can get it for 6 months consistently, that's the thing. It has to be consistent.
You'll have to, because at that point, that workload will be more. Like it won't be worth going to work because you'll do the math and be like, I make way more out here. Well, I don't need to be there.
Right. So yeah, if that happens for like 6 months straight, it's like the money from DistroKid and from, I don't know, BMI and SunTrust and all of them stuff, they just come in and it's like, I'm making thousands and thousands. Yeah. Yeah. Just need to double down. Just need to double down and make it even the more bigger. So tell me, do you think spirituality or religion has impacted your art in any way?
Yeah, definitely as of recently. Well, I mean, like when I was in high school, going through depression and using music as therapy, that's when I felt closest to God. But specifically, I would sit down at the piano and just improvise. Like I would just let my fingers basically play the chords that they, and just kind of let, I guess, quote unquote, let God play through me. And through that, I was able to completely forget about. It was literally a complete like antidote to the depression. Now, granted, as soon as I stopped, it wouldn't take long for it to come back.
You know what that reminds me of? Sorry to cut you off.
What's that?
But a passage of the Bible where an evil spirit from God afflicted Saul, and the only way he could alleviate it was having David play the instrument for him. I'll
have to go back and read that.
Yes.
It's interesting.
Absolutely. So when David played the instrument, that's when Saul was zen. But when David stopped, Saul goes back into, being Saul. After David slayed Goliath and got invited into the king's court and all of that, and he got close to the king and all that stuff. And yeah, and Saul deviated from the favor of God, blah, blah, blah. That's insane. Like, you leaving the Bible right there. That's insane, brother.
Well, I guess something interesting is, for a while, I did walk off. Like, I kind of walked away from I don't even want to say Christianity, because I don't like the whole stigma of, like, it being a label and a religion stuff. But I walked away from Christ, right? And when I did, hold on, I forgot where I was going with that.
That's okay, because we're talking about how being alleviated with playing music and whatnot. Like you're saying, it kind of like took your brain away from the depression, and then I brought up Saul and David and all of that. But that's insane. But you're trying to say religion right now has an impact in the kind of music that you create, yes? Yeah,
definitely does, because like I've been working with just anyone for the past 6 years. Just if they could, invest a little bit into me, I would invest into them. And now I don't want to say that I don't like want to work with like certain genres, but I am kind of geared more towards just not even it doesn't have to be Christian music, but just music that doesn't glorify like evil, basically.
Yeah, you recently also just changed your tag.
Yeah.
Is that part of that conviction?
Yeah, I changed my tag to Soli Deo Gloria, which is Latin for glory to God alone. And the reason I chose that was, one, is kind of a symbolism of me basically saying that I'm not making music for the world anymore. It's to glorify God. And so whatever they choose to do with it, that's on them. Because I truly believe that everyone that I work with has been sent my way for a divine reason. Whether that's, to help support me along my journey, or for me to eventually be, like even with you, just to be monumental in someone's journey too.
Absolutely.
And so, and then I also chose it because Bach used, he would write that at the end of his music compositions. And Bach and Handel, who's a classical composer, and I'm classically trained, so it kind of had like two deep meanings that I fused together. And so it, my old tag was, "Who the fuck is Ddiltz?"
Yeah, that's a classic. I don't care what you say.
And like
That's
it worked for a long time because it was provocative. It was, you know, it got people's attention and made them wonder, well, who the fuck is he? You know,
right?
But I guess me changing to Soli Deo Gloria is like a symbolism of like taking the focus away from me and more to where the music actually comes from. Because I feel like I'm just a vessel, and that's where I was going with that thing earlier. Is when I walked away from God, I kind of looked at music differently, and so instead of looking at music as like a bridge to God, I looked at it as like a God itself. And a lot of people do that with just anything in creation. Like they'll find anything to worship and worship as God, even themselves. And I was confused for a while, but I realized now that music is creation. It's not the creator. It's not. It's not the source.
Crazy.
And so
that's the first time also that I've heard someone, you know, bring to light that there are people that no longer view music as something from God, but as God itself.
As a religion, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. I never even considered that. And it's like...
You could do it with anything. Like, people look at love as the ultimate, like, God or religion. That love is from the God, Creator. It's from... It's, so...
Because another way to look at it is, if you can make something, it cannot be the Creator. Because the Creator cannot be created. You know, I love when someone opens my mind to like a new fact, opens my mind to like a new thing that I never even considered. So thank you for that. So now, would you say that your art is more about expressing something personal or discovering something universal?
It's definitely a walk between both. Because I don't really put out music lyrically anymore, but the music I did put out lyrically, most of it was just telling my story. It was just me basically telling who I am. Now the music I make is more instrumental based, like EDM, cinematic, orchestral music, just more expressive music, which I feel is personal still, but it's more universal because, like, think about TikTok, when you're scrolling on TikTok and you just hear like the instrumental sounds where it's just really vibey or nostalgic or sad sounds, whatever. Like, you can feel that without even hearing a word. So I feel like the music now would be more universal.
Interesting. Yeah, I do believe that would account for universal, because you're not even trying to channel them to feel a particular thing, but you just create it and then you let that thing be open to interpretation. And,
yeah, basically.
And that could be anyone from any walk of life stumbling upon it and just interpreting that situation or interpreting that thing however best, you know, they see fit.
Yeah.
Now, I want to touch back a little bit into something that you mentioned earlier, because like looking at you, right, I could never guess that, you know, you're someone that has been through something as trying as being through a correctional system, right? And off camera, you had mentioned to me that that's where the first seed of production got planted into you. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So that was the first time in my life I'd ever just been completely isolated from music. The only form of music I had really was eventually through commissary. I could order this cheap little FM radio that could barely connect to a radio stations. But I found out that there was a choir in the church at the prison I was at, and I went to the chapel, and I saw that there was a live band. There's a keyboard and guitar and bass and drums, singers and all that. And so, of course, me being me, if I see a piano, I want to play it. And especially, I hadn't even seen one in like probably 6 months at that point. And so I went after and asked the guy on the keyboard, hey, how do I get in here? Like, how do I come play music? He's like, well, what do you play? I told him piano. And I sit down, he said, well, just play me something. And I start playing Mozart, Beethoven, just the classical stuff I knew. And they were all impressed, but they were like, that's not gospel, though. And I was like, Derek, can you play gospel? Can you play jazz? I had a little bit of jazz training from high school. So I played a little bit, and they're like, yeah, you know a little bit, but you have a lot to learn, so stay after next time, and I'll walk you through some things. And the keyboardist showed me scales and chords I'd never seen before. They were similar to like blues, but the way that they went through the chords it was breaking all the rules that I knew. Like, I even remember going, you can't do that. And he's like, what do you mean you can't do it? It sounds good, doesn't it? And I'm like, well, yeah, but like, how are you doing that? He's like, because I'm not thinking about it. And my whole life up to that point was just, music was analytical. It was math, basically. It was theory and science. And so I looked at it as completely opposite. It was feeling and emotion and vibe. And so once I started learning these chords and these scales, it opened me up to a whole different realm of music, R&B, soul. I already knew blues, but more blues, and then eventually rap. And so whenever I got out of prison, my brother had an iPad from school, and it had GarageBand on it. I'd never messed with it before. And I get on there, and I'm playing with it, and I'm like, okay, like using these chords and putting them to the same kind of drum patterns I was hearing. I'm like, this is R&B, this is soul, and then it just quickly turned into me producing, basically. And I still to this day, especially when I work with R&B artists, I use those same shapes and chords that I learned in that gospel chapel in prison. So
that is very incredible to think that you probably would not have stumbled, or maybe even if you did stumble, it would not be the same as meeting someone in such a lowly place in life that taught you that to create better rules, you have to break the old ones, or to even maybe not even conform to the rules at all. Because like you said, you would literally tell him, bro, you can't do that. And that's insane. Like I absolutely love that's really unique. And to think, that's where production started for you. That's where it was like
the seed, yeah, because maybe the preparation for it, because like every time there's certain chord progressions that I use even to this day that I learned in there, and I think back to that guy who, for all I know, might still be there. I don't know, but yeah, that it's I think Elvis Presley had a similar story, except the difference with him, I don't think he credited the people that he learned it from. So I'll at least give credit.
Right. I'm learning to giving credits is like you have to. People put in work to learn what they know, and it is a disservice to not credit them for what they did. And that's incredible, man. Like, now we know how the legend started of just, Ddiltz, just how did the whole thing start? Just being like, it started from one single seed in a chapel in an uncommon place, and now you've made over thousands of beats for hundreds of artists, all from that one seed. And that's how powerful it is. Because also to be kind to people, because they could have easily not welcomed you, especially in that environment. They could have been like, shoot, or something.
Oh yeah.
But they opened their arms to you, and they ended up molding one of the best producers I know. So that's really incredible, man. That's really incredible. I really, really loved to hear that. Now I know you are an overworker. You tend to overdo and burn out really quick a lot, with how much workload you take on. Can you tell me how you handle downtime when you are not creating? Like what's Ddiltz doing? Like when you're not creating and making beats and doing all that stuff. How do you spend your time?
Yeah, well, I have dogs, so I go to the dog park with them. Sometimes I just go and I'll just sit and just not think or just meditate, kind of. And then let me think. Recently, I started going to a Bible study.
Okay.
So that I have that to look forward to each week. As I don't look forward to it as like, okay, I can not work on music, but it's just something
to do outside.
Yeah, something to look forward to that's not music. The gym for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, you started that a few years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. I think it's like been going on like 2.5 years now. I started working out.
That's insane. The progress you've made so far. That's
made then lost and made then lost. The roller coaster.
But that's the thing with progress. It's not
it's never up straight up.
It's up down up down up down. That's just how it goes, and it's just finding the strength to start again, finding the strength to go back after you've lost it. That's the real progress to me, at the very least. So tell me, how do you find the people, because I know you touched on it just a tiny bit where you had said now you must have focused on people that make a conscious type of music, not just people that are glorifying things that shouldn't be glorifying. Now, how do you find artists, and what kind of artists are you looking for to work with?
So okay, well, I don't currently look for artists right now.
Okay.
And the reason why, it's a mixture of things. It may be it might just be like social media burnout. Because I've just, like I think for probably the first 4 years, I just went insane on social media. And then I just hit some kind of roadblock along the way to where I just kind of stopped, just kind of fell off of social media, but I had word of mouth going for me. And that's still, honestly, that's one of my biggest sources. Like just how you're talking about, you just sent me somebody to learn Logic Pro, or like I get people all the time. Hey, I heard the beat that you made for such and such. How do I get one made? How do I get a mix? So word of mouth is definitely the big one, but also the reason I don't really focus on bringing in new artists is because the ones that I have are so locked in with me that I feel like if I put too many eggs in my basket, they won't hatch, I guess. And so me focusing on the artists that have been loyal to me for years, I feel like I have more chance of longevity success with. Because I'm not one of those producers. I don't care about quick $50 lease sales. I don't care about quick little money sales. I want consistency, and I want longevity.
Absolutely.
Business-wise. And also, I want to see the artist succeed, because the way that we do business, everything is very collaborative, that if they succeed, I succeed too. Absolutely. So it'd be dumb of me to like just make beats and then just discard the person and like forget about him,
Absolutely.
Which is why I'm not a BeatStars YouTube producer. It's why I don't make sound packs and flip them and stuff, because I don't I care more about the longevity. Like, I want to see your music in a movie. I want to see your music making royalties for decades. I don't care about leases and quick money sales.
Yeah. I feel that, and I feel like that's also one of the most unique things about you as the producer that I work with. Because I'm like, I was telling, like, the guy I sent you, I was like, if there is one producer that I know that cares more about the music than what you could ever offer him, it's Ddiltz. That's who you want to talk to. He's gonna make sure to a fault that you get it right, that it's done right, that it's like everything is conducted the way it should be. And if for whatever reason you ever walk out of a Ddiltz session unhappy, that's 100,000% on you. Like, I'm just like, it's like he will make sure he goes where you want to go. You lead, he follows. But he follows not just like without a brain. He follows with intention, So I keep telling him, like, yeah, he'll ask you, what do you want? And after you tell him, he's going to try to, get that. And then, it's your brainchild, but he's going to help deliver it 100%. So, like, that's what I tell him. It's like, and this goes to show what you just said, that there's a reasoning behind it. Like, you very much care about the art itself. You very much care about where it's going. You very much care about the artist doing good even after you're done with what they're doing. To me, that's much more important than a beat from Metro Booming. But yeah, tell me about the Zoom call process. Like, what created that need for you to go, hey, let's do a Zoom call, as opposed to, hey, just give me a sample and let me go do it by myself.
Well, that started late 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I found a artist out in the UK. His name's Tad, and what's it called? I made him a beat, and there's just revisions that he wanted made to the beat, I guess, to like help him write, or maybe he had ideas, whatever. But he proposed the idea, let's get on Zoom and do it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew about Zoom, but I'd never had ever thought about using it for any reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so we quickly set it up, and then I saw that I could route my audio through it. He could see and hear my screen as I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, bro, why don't you just do this? Like, just get on Zoom with artists and just make beats. Well, that came later, because after we did that first Zoom call, we would make beats together and just hang out and talk and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that turned into basically a service of not only can you get a beat custom to you or made around your vision or your vocals, but you can actually be sitting here watching as it's being made and be a part of it. And like, because a big thing that I saw with my pre-made beats is I would show artists and they would just skip really fast through and be like, nope, nope, nope. It's like, okay, well, I know I can make you what you want, but just you gotta tell me.
What
and so it turned into like they would just make requests, like, I want a beat that does this, this, and that, and fuses this influence and that influence, and they'd give me a blender of ideas, and then they'd be there so they could tell me in real time, I don't like that, or I love that, keep that, maybe change the sound, or like they would be able to like they'd basically be able to co-produce and be basically my co-pilot of the beat while the beat's being made.
That's pretty impressive, man. Not a lot of people are doing that, and I feel like a lot more should be, because, you know, it would narrow down on saving the producer's time, because your time, I feel, is most definitely limited, you know. So it's easier if they just there with you and they could just get what they want right there and then versus 20,000 revisions.
Well, it's definitely hard. I definitely owe some of the things I learned in college to that, like ear training. For example, because whenever I hop on Zoom, there's some artists, they don't know what a hi-hat and a snare is. Like, they know what it sounds like, but they don't know the names of these things. And I don't blame them. Like, if you never had been in a DAW or anything, you wouldn't know. And so, like, you have to translate what they're trying to say. Like, if they're like, hey, I want the snare to go tss, 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 tss. Well, I know a snare doesn't make that sound. It's a hi-hat, so I'm going to put the hi-hat in, correct them so they know, you know. And then you also have to like listen to them singing and know what chords to play. Like it's not, I don't think just anyone could do it. I think you either have to be really talented or really skilled. Gotcha. You can't just go into like a Zoom call. I don't think your average producer could just hop on a Zoom call with an artist and like hear them sing and like
go off of
just spit it out. I could be wrong, but
no, I mean I do feel like, you know, it is a skill different in of its own as opposed to just making a beat, you know. But yeah, I mean, I also assume that to be a producer, you also have to be at least half as trained as you are, you know, like, because I feel like you're
not even necessarily. I know a lot of producers that just have an ear, and that's all they need. And I know producers that if they didn't have a loop pack to draw from, they couldn't make you a beat. So it's.
That kind of reminds me of, like, there's this guy that's so popular. He doesn't play instruments. He doesn't sing. He doesn't do none of that. He just has an ear. And people, like, from Jay-Z to everybody, they go to him to get his opinion on the songs. And, like, he's very famous for telling Jay-Z to start his song with, you having girl problems, I feel bad for your son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Like, he told Jay-Z to start that a cappella and then have the beat come in later. And then he's been responsible for a million other things, and he makes a fuck ton of money just being opinionated, you know. And he just has that ear, and he's just really good at, you know, what he does. So it's just like, So that brings me back to the point of you saying, hey, there's some people that they just have that and they can just mess around with stuff and it still comes out good. And I feel like that's also kind of me. Like I have an ear for it, you know. Like I don't play instruments either, but I do write. I'm pretty decent at my writing, but it's like, you know, I don't play. I would love to play. I'm trying to learn, but it's hard to you know, because I'm a physical learner. I have to be in the room. And someone have to show me a couple things and actually make me understand, because I need to understand why stuff is, as opposed to, oh, this is a rule. I need to know why is it a rule, you know, for me to keep that rule and for me to remember to keep it, because that's just how my brain's wired, you know. To segue a little bit, do you think your art should comfort people or challenge them?
Comfort or challenge people? I guess it depends on the art you're making, you know. Some people make art strictly for entertainment. And I think I think a lot of people are more comforted by music now than challenged. Because like if you put on political rap or conscious rap, I feel like the average Joe isn't going to want to listen to it. Because they just want to vibe. They just want to hear about, you know, like how we were talking about earlier, they just want to hear the world glorified, basically. I feel like art that challenges people is kind of it's like an underground thing, you know. If you make music that actually makes people think, then it's not going to get radio play, because they're like, oh, you're not talking about the same shit everyone else is talking about.
Yeah, it's not vibey enough, it's not hot enough, it's not lit enough.
Yeah, and so I feel like now it's definitely more of a comfort thing. Now you said, should it? Both.
Both?
Yeah.
I suppose. Oh,
I feel like you can do both.
Yeah, if you were to tell me, based on what you've done so far, do you think your catalog leans more towards comfort or challenge?
My lyrical music probably challenge. It's hard to challenge people with instrumental music, I guess.
I mean, if there are the artists listening or the composers listening, they could feel challenged possibly, but that's very rare. You know, a bigger portion of the audience that would listen to you are much more so consumers than, you know, creators. Yeah. At least you want to hope so, because if all you have is a bunch of creators listening to you, then you're mostly gonna end up with critics. Right. But yeah, I feel that. So you would say comfort then, for the most part?
Yeah, I think it does comfort. I think it should do a mixture of both.
Okay. Have you ever created out of pain?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely all through high school. Like I was saying earlier, every time I improvise on the piano is usually a release from pain or depression. Producing wise, even I have too. I've sat down and made a beat when I'm sad, angry, frustrated, even happy. And those are always, I feel like the beats I make when I'm feeling emotional are the best, because especially like if it's a piano beat, that's gonna make anyone cry.
Absolutely. So you mentioned other emotions apart from feeling on the downside. Which of those is the hardest for you to bring to life or portray in your art? Honestly,
as bad as this will sound, probably happy. Yeah. Because like if I'm making something sad, I know I'm gonna be in a minor key. I know how I'm gonna play. But when it's happy, major just sounds cheesy to me sometimes. Like it sounds like rinky dink kind of. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so sometimes I kind of struggle making happy music sound. At least to me, other people have their own perspectives. Cause I make beats all the time where I hate it, and the other person's like, "What do you mean, bro?" Like even me and you. Yeah. I've made stuff where I'm like, I don't really feel it. I'm not feeling it right now. Yeah. And then you'll kind of encourage me, and it'll go a certain way. But absolutely. Yeah, I'd probably say it would just like. And I don't even mean vibey or like sexy music. I mean like happy, happy, like happy, Pharrell like happy. Pop. Yeah,
like them type pop.
Yeah, those are harder for me to make because they just sound corny to me.
I completely understand. I do. It's like you said, we've been through a couple scenarios like that, and because I had a phase there where I was like, "Hey, let's make a really happy beat so I can say sad stuff on it." Like, I had that. I remember that phase, but I didn't think you enjoyed that phase so much, but we still made. That's how we made "Ain't Tryna Be Sad." I don't know if you remember that track. So.
Yeah, and like that's why I like working with the artists, because where I might hit a roadblock and just give up, you might push me past it, and then I change my mind. Like, I love when my mind is changed with a track, you know?
Absolutely. Can you tell me how you measure success beyond flags, numbers, and streams? Like, what do you consider a success in creation?
I guess it depends on why you're creating. For me personally, I create, kind of like I said earlier, in some ways out of survival. And then also in some ways out of just the need to create. And so those are kind of two conflicting reasons to create, right? Survival and passion. And so I guess on the survival reason, sorry, remind me of the question.
I asked, how do you measure success? Like, what do you consider successful?
So on the survival reason, obviously it's going to be finances. Like, if I'm able to pay my bills, and to me, just getting by, just getting my necessities out of the way with music money is success. Because the other alternative is not making money or making money at a really crappy job. And so on the passion side of it, I would say the audience receiving it would be success. Like, well, how do I word that differently?
I suppose that's not a bad way to word it, though. You know, if the audience can receive it, because some people make songs to make it and then just put it out and nothing. But if you can make a song that evokes an emotion out of somebody else or evokes a response, because I say over and over again to people, art should provoke thought or emotion. If the things that you're making does not provoke either of those two things, you are not creating. So being received by people, like you said, absolutely a very great way to measure that. If you passed away today, what would you want the world to remember about Ddiltz?
I would say kind of a mixture of things. I would hope that people would look at me and remember me as someone who actually actually had a relationship with God. Like, not just say oh, he was a good Christian, but he was actually after God's heart, and that'd be a recent thing. I don't think I would have said that a couple of years ago. And then I guess the other thing, creative wise, would just be how I impacted people. Like, I don't even care. I don't want people to sit at the funeral and be like, "Oh, he made really good beats. He played piano really well."
Really good beats.
I want people to come up and be like, "This is how my creative journey, or how even my life was changed because I met him." And that would all stem from me following God, because the more I follow God, the more I love people. And so, I would want people to talk about how I believed in them, how I helped them when no one else would, stuff like that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's really impactful and monumental to hear from you. And I think personally, I'm one of the people that you have generously impacted. I don't think there would be a Saint Wolf without Ddiltz, and that's just facts. I think you've done for me what I don't think I would even come this far without you. Because there are things you've done for me behind the scenes, creatively, and just even without, to where it's just very much built me into the people into the person that people love and appreciate today. Yeah, I think I'll definitely be one of those people that would remember you in that light. So that's really, That's monumental, brother. Yeah, thank you so much for coming through today to the studio here at Oracle Unveiled to talk to us. I have learned quite a lot of things from you. I mean, I suppose even things that not everybody will hear because we had very much like we've been talking for like 2-3 hours, and this is only gonna be, and we've only recorded about an hour's worth of footage for people, and it's like there's so much more deeper stuff that we talked in person, but everything is not meant for everybody, you know. So yeah, it's been a delight to have you over. I can't wait to have you back some other time. So thank you very much for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course.